Ever notice how celebrities today are constantly followed by paparazzi, with every single move scrutinized? Well, Jesus had his own version of that, and they were called the Pharisees. They were relentless, constantly trying to trap him with tricky questions, hoping he'd say something to get himself in trouble. For instance, after he miraculously fed 4,000 people, they came up asking for a sign from heaven, as if that massive miracle wasn't enough. Another time they tried to corner him on the hot-button issue of divorce, hoping to turn either the public or King Herod against him. They even questioned him about paying taxes to Caesar, always looking for an angle to discredit him. Their goal was simple: to entangle him in his own words. Their scrutiny was so intense, they were like shadows, watching every little thing. This brings us to a famous story in the Gospel of Matthew. One Sabbath day, Jesus and his disciples were walking through some grain fields. Being hungry, the disciples started picking heads of grain to eat. To you and me, that sounds pretty harmless. But to the Pharisees, this was a major scandal. They accused the disciples of working on the Sabbath, which was forbidden by the law of Moses. In their hyper-legalistic minds, picking grain was the same as harvesting, and that was a big no-no. But Jesus, as he always did, used their accusation to reveal their own hypocrisy. He responded with two brilliant questions. First, he asked, "Have you not read what David did when he was hungry?" He reminded them of the story in 1 Samuel, where David, who they deeply admired, ate the sacred showbread from the temple, something only priests were lawfully allowed to do. Now, some people misunderstand this. They think Jesus was saying, "See, David broke the law, so it's okay for my disciples to do it too." But that's not it at all. Jesus actually pointed out that what David did was not lawful. The point was to expose a double standard. The Pharisees praised David even though he clearly broke a divine law, yet they condemned the disciples for doing something that wasn't even against the law in the first place. The disciples didn't break God's law. They only broke the Pharisees' man-made, nitpicky interpretation of it. The Pharisees' stunned silence proved Jesus' point. Then, Jesus hit them with a second question. "Or have you not read in the law that on the Sabbath the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless?" He reminded them that the temple was the busiest place in town on the Sabbath. The priests worked hard. They offered sacrifices, baked bread, trimmed lamps, and even performed circumcisions. All of this was considered work, but it was work in service to God, so it was perfectly lawful. Jesus was making a powerful statement. If work done in service to the physical temple was acceptable on the Sabbath, how much more acceptable was the work of his disciples, who were serving him, the one who is greater than the temple? He called himself the Lord of the Sabbath. The Sabbath was made for humanity, not the other way around. The disciples weren't breaking the law. They were serving the very Lord who gave the law. Through these sharp, insightful responses, Jesus didn't just defend his disciples. He exposed the hollow, hypocritical legalism of the Pharisees and revealed his own divine authority. It's a powerful reminder that our relationship with God is about heart and service, not just about checking off a list of rules. Thanks for watching. If you found this insightful, please like this video and subscribe for more content that dives deep into the scriptures. See you next time.